Hi everyone, this is Catherine Kipp from the CAFR team, and I'm going to walk you through filling out one of your GASB 87 lease implementation packages. And we're going to do this in several sections and break this up so that you can pick and choose where you're needing help. So right here I've got the Sea Grant Consortium. I'm going to use them as an example. So you've got your package and we're going to send it to you filled out with last year's information. So we've got the commencement of the lease, the expiration date of the lease. We've got all this information filled in, and you're just going to need to go through on the information that's already in and make sure it's correct. Okay. We've got these directions that we have written up for you guys, and these are they are, in my opinion, good directions, but they probably look very hideous because they are very long. And I think once you get the flow of this, a lot of this is going to become intuitive to you. So you've got this section here in the directions that just gives you a note of things that you need to know about your lease implementation, and then you've got your order of instructions, and this needs to be completed in this order. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to column A, and I'm just going to move these order of instructions over to this sheet to a second screen that you cannot see, but you can see right here. We're just going to start with step 1, column A. So you're going to have your lease ID, and it needs to be unique. It can be up to 15 characters. There's no special characters allowed, like the @ sign, the pound sign. So you've got 15 characters to identify your lease ID. You can see this guy right here is obviously more than 15 characters, so that will have to change. Then you're going to put in your business area code, your business area name. Then you're going to have a lease description, and you can just sort of see going through what you got here, and then the directions sort of walk you through each individual column and references the column. Where it gets a little tricky is you've got your expiration date, which is column F, and this is you're going to use the date provided in the lease or the self-determined asset life. And so the question is, how do you determine the asset life? Well, you're going to need to go and reference one of these handy dandy instructions here, which is, let me pause the video so I can. So you're going to need to go find this How to Determine Asset Life, which is on our website, and overview this, and this will walk you through determining the asset life. You've got up here, we've broken this out into your GASB statement number 87, and this is just straightforward. This is what GASB 87 is telling you in your accounting department what you have to do for the useful life. This is not coming from the CAFR team. This is coming from the horse's mouth. So we put this in here so you know what the authority, the governmental accounting authority is telling you how to determine your useful life. But then we break it down into just something that helps just a little bit more. So we kind of walk you through down here as you just kind of flow through different examples, and then we also give you the asset class and asset class name. So we can go back. I'll create another video on how to determine asset life that goes a little more in depth than that, but I'm just going to go back to our step 1. So your expiration date is either going to be your asset life or your expiration date, and it's going to be either one of those. Okay. And then you're going to get to this column G, which is this lease recorded in a governmental fund or in a business type fund? And you're going to go, I don't know, I don't care. How you're going to find this is you're going to go to your index of funds, and you're going to find what fund that the lease is recorded in. And if it's recorded in this fund, you can see, okay, that's government. So you would be able to say, okay, governmental. All right. Here, your lease type, you're going to need to go to your reference tab right here, column M, scroll up here, and you're going to pick which lease type it is. And this is to determine which general ledger account it's going to get coded to. So you have to pick specifically which lease type it is, copy and paste it back into here. And then you're going to, of course, mark whether or not you're going to purchase or keep. And then you need to determine which asset class that this lease falls under. And you're going to go back to your reference tab, and you're going to go find column I, and you're going to figure out which tab it is, which class it belongs to. And once you put that in, it's going to populate the class description, and then it's also going to populate down here the useful life, or excuse me, it's going to populate, there are some dependent formulas that right here, I believe, yes, right here, this the ski's default useful life. So and then the term of lease is just the between the lease commencement and the expiration date, which again, remember we talked about the expiration date. It's either what's on the contract or the useful life. So I have a formula I really like, and it's year frac, and you just go year frac, and you do the start date, which is this, comma, end date, comma, and then I do one, which is actual year dates, and then enter, and that's telling me basically this is 5-year term lease, so I just say 5. So that's an easy way to do it. Right here, we put a formula in here. It's not the best because sometimes this will return a 12, and if it does that, then like let's just say this said a 12, then you would need to make this into a 2, because basically this is 2. If it said 12, 1 and 12, that means 1 year, 12 months, which essentially is 2 years. So you would see me say 2, but so just kind of keep that in mind. So I'm just going to pull this down right here. But what this is saying is the useful life we've calculated at this point is 2 years, 2 years and 3 months. So we've gotten through this section right here, and we're just going to keep on going. And you just fill out this information right through here. You're going to need to select the payment frequency, and this payment frequency is whether or not it's monthly, quarterly, yearly, semi-monthly. So it's it varies. And then you need to tell us whether or not the payment is at the start of the lease or at the end of the lease. So now I've gotten you through kind of the first section here. Okay, so now we get to the rate. So this is where it also gets a little tricky. So you have an explicit rate, and then you have an implicit rate. An explicit rate is where the rate is defined in the contract. If you have a rate that is defined in the contract, you will use that rate. If you do not have a rate in the contract, then you will need to use rates that have been provided. If you go to this reference tab right here and go right here in this section right here, we've got the rates listed for you here. But before we do that, you would need to go look at this little handy dandy nifty interest rates for leased assets flowchart. And once you kind of get the gist of it, you won't have to look at this often, but you're going to ask yourself some questions about your asset. So your first question is, Does your lease have an interest rate? Yes, then you're going to use that rate, which is right here. No, we're going to keep going. Is your lease an asset? Is your lease a building or land? If it's yes, then you're going to go to this section right here, and you're going to pick where it falls. So if your lease pays monthly and is the term, the useful life, the term right here, is between 0 and 2 years, 11 months, and 30 something day, 30, 29, whatever days, then you're going to pick whatever category it falls in here, and so on and so forth. So then you would say, okay, if your lease is not land or building, then you're going to go on to machinery and equipment. And then you'll go down to this one and you'll say, is it due at the start or end? And so if it's at the start, then you'll select this category. If it's at the end, you'll select this category, however it falls. So once you kind of get used to that, then you get pretty quick at figuring it out. So really, this is you're going to be selecting if it's non-real estate, you're going to be right here. If it's real estate, you're going to be right here. So you're going to go back to your master data, and I'm going to just, because I'm doing this for you guys, this is a leased machinery and equipment. It is 5 years, and it is due at the end. So I'm going to go here. It's machinery and equipment, so I'm going to go up here. It's due at the end of the period, and it's 5 years, so it's going to be this rate. Okay, and then you're just going to keep filling this out as you go. And this payment amount, you're going to just fill in the payment amount, and if the amount changes, you're going to mark yes. And then we're going to go on to step 2. So I'm going to stop this video here. We are at 12 minutes, and we're going to move on to step 2 and create a second video.